Hey everyone, and welcome back. So today I want to talk about the education system, not just here in the UK, but in the US, in Spain, in the Middle East, in Australia, all over the world. There's a certain hierarchy to how the education system is put in place, and it all treats us the same way, as if we're some kind of Victorian clone. The system was put in place long ago to wants and needs of society, but then it stopped. So I want to talk about how the education system needs to give us so much more and that we deserve so much more from it.
There is a version of education that begins with a question. What can this person do? What are they drawn to? What happens when you put certain things in front of them and step back? It's an education built around the individual, the particular shape of mind, their specific gifts, their unique angle on the world. That's not the education most of us received. What most of us received began with a different question entirely. Not what can this person do, but what does this person need to become? And the answer was decided long before we arrived. The curriculum existed, the timetable existed, the hierarchy of subjects existed. Our job was to fit ourselves into a mould that had been cast without us in mind, and to be measured by how completely we managed it. This isn't a recent failure, it's a structural one, baked into the very design of mass education from its origins. The school system, as we inherited it, wasn't built to develop individuals. It was built to produce a particular kind of person at scale. Literate enough, numerate enough, obedient enough, because the economy of the 19th century required that person in enormous quantities. The factory needed workers who could follow instructions reliably. The civil service needed clerks who could process information consistently. The empire needed administrators who wouldn't deviate from procedure. The school produced them. It was efficient, it was deliberate, and it worked. The problem is that it's still working, still producing the same product, still running on the same assumptions about what a person is for. The economy changed, the culture changed, the world changed beyond recognition, and the school made the same adjustments to its technology whilst leaving its fundamental logic entirely intact. That logic is compliance, not learning, not development, not the cultivation of individual potential. Compliance. The ability to sit in the right place, produce the right answer, perform the right behaviours at the right time. The child who masters compliance is rewarded. The child who resists it, not out of laziness or indifference, but because their particular mind doesn't work that way, is managed, assessed, supported, and if necessary, medicated back toward the norm. Sir Ken Robinson told the story of a young girl in the 1930s who was struggling at school. Her teachers believed she had a learning disorder. She couldn't concentrate. She couldn't sit still. Her mother took her to a specialist who, after listening carefully, led the mother out of the room and left the girl alone with the radio on. The two adults watched through the window as she immediately got to her feet and began moving to the music. He turned to her mother and said, "Your daughter isn't sick. She's a dancer. Take her to dance school." That girl was Julian Lynn, who went on to choreograph Cats and Phantom of the Opera and was a dame. The system had looked at her and seen a problem. One person looked properly and saw a person. That distinction between system and processes and a person who sees is at the heart of everything wrong with how we educate, because the system can't see. It can only measure, and what it measures is a narrow and largely arbitrary slice of what human beings are actually capable of. Consider what it means to be good at something the system doesn't value. To be the child who can walk into a room and read the emotional temperature instantly. To be the child who can take a broken thing apart and understand how it works without being able to fully explain the process in words. To be the child who makes other children feel safe, or who seeks solutions to problems before anyone has finished describing them. Or who can hold an audience of 30 people with nothing but a story. These aren't small gifts. In the world beyond school, they're often the gifts that matter most. The ones that build things, lead people, create work that endures. But the school has no column for them, no box to tick, no grade to assign, and so the children who carry them are told in ways both explicit and implicit that they're not especially able, that they are average or struggling or in need of support. They absorb that verdict and carry it into adult life, where it quietly limits what they attempt and what they believe themselves capable of. Many brilliant, talented people go through their entire lives believing they're not intelligent at all, because the thing they were good at was never valued by the system they passed through. That's not a minor inefficiency. That's a civilizational waste. The alternative isn't chaos. It's not the abandonment of shared knowledge or common standards or the things that genuinely do need to be taught to everyone. It's something more demanding than the current system, not less, because it requires actually looking at the person in front of you and asking the harder question. Not can they pass the test, but what can they do that nobody else can do quite the same way? Not do they fit the mold, but what would they build if we gave them the materials and stepped back? Every child who arrives at school arrives with something, a particular quality of attention, a way of moving through problems, a sensitivity to certain kinds of experience, a capacity that is specifically and unrepeatably theirs. The school's job, at its best, is to find that thing and develop it, to take what is already there and make it fully itself. At its worst, the school's job is to sand it down until the child fits the desk, answers the question, and sits quietly until the bell goes. We have spent a long time perfecting the second approach. We've barely begun the first.